No need to tell you where I am today. I'm here to catch up with Bruce Curtis, the Vice President of the club, to find out a bit of the history of the Labrador Hockey Club.
Tom, it was formed in 1968 by a group of parents who had children playing at the Labrador State School. Quite soon after that, they were allocated this land by the Gold Coast City Council where we're sitting, and then the facilities were gradually built up by parents until about 1980 or just before that, when senior teams became available after the juniors had moved through, up until this day now, where we have the synthetic field, one grass field left, and the clubhouse.
So it was a junior club established. Junior's a big part of the Labrador Hockey Club?
Junior's a major focus of the club. I guess the strength of the club comes from when I started the junior development program in 1991, where we started going to schools with a hockey program run over 4 weeks, and we teach all the year threes. So since 1991 we built up to probably having the most number of people about 2 years ago, whereby this year we'd still have somewhere close to 500 players, and of them 350 would be juniors. And
caters for both boys and girls?
Yeah, boys and girls, and men and women. Girls and boys from 5 years old through to the under 17s now, and then seniors right through to vets as old as you can keep walking.
And Keith Hunt Park, named after a hockey person?
No, Keith Hunt was the mayor of the City Council at that time in the 70s. He did a lot of work for sporting groups and donating things, and so the park was named after him.
You talked men and women as well involved in the club?
Yep, men and women. We're a very strong women's club. As a matter of fact, most of the Australian reps that have been developed out of this club, like Debbie Bowman and Lee McLeod, were Labrador juniors, and now Marnie Hudson came to us from another club when she was fairly young, and Candice Oliveri, who was in the national side for a little while. Labrador's right from the Minkies. And then we have other people like Nikki Hudson, who came here as she was already developed, and Brent Livermore, who's been here since 2009.
And the time since the formation, you say involved in schools, Gold Coast Hockey Association involvement?
Yeah, well, I've been involved in Gold Coast Hockey since it was formed. My best knowledge or recollection is that Gold Coast Hockey wasn't formed in those early days, especially for the boys. They used to play in the border competition, and then as a couple of clubs evolved on the Gold Coast, then Gold Coast Hockey was started. That used to be a men's and a women's association separate then, and then they joined later on. Yeah. And
the Gold Coast Hockey Association now is still part of that?
Yeah, we still have all the teams in all the grades in seniors from Division 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then 17s, 15s, 13s and 11s. We field 1 or 2 teams in each grade.
And premierships during that time, Bruce?
Oh, Tom, there's heaps and heaps. The last few years we've won both the Division 1 men and the Division 1 women. I don't know, probably in the last 15 years the women have won probably 13 times, and the men would have won in the last 10 years probably 6 of those or so. Yep.
And life members for Labrador Hockey Club?
We've probably got about 10 life members. The key ones would be Pat Rolfe, who was the founding father of the building in the 70s and the early 80s. Then you have myself, who's been around since 1980, Gail Lomas, who's still our secretary, is a tower of strength. Pat Jackson was our treasurer for a long time, and set us up how to run the club financially, so Pat Jackson was a key person. They're the recent ones.
And the involvement with the Brisbane Hockey Association, where did that come from, and how was that developed by Labrador as a club?
Well, as a club we're always trying to grow the game, not just a club. We think about trying to grow the game, and once we got breadth in our numbers, then we started getting quality, so we needed an outlet for our players instead of the Brisbane clubs reaping the benefit of our players all the time. We saw the need that we should attempt to get into the highest level competition, which is, you know, the Brisbane Men's League. So we made application, and thanks to the committee at that time had the vision and foresight to expand the competition, we were allowed in 2007. And we're very grateful for that, and we've been able to develop a lot of our young kids to a standard that they would never have reached if we hadn't been involved with BHA.
And progress to date, semi-finalists last year, 2011?
Yeah, well, I guess we're probably batting above our weight a little. At Labrador, we started in 2007, made the semis in that year and came 4th out of 10 teams, through to last year where we were lucky enough to scrape through game after game to get to the final, and met the Crackerjack commercial side, no match for them, but we were very, very proud of our boys to get to the grand final after 5 years in the competition.
And very handy having an ex-Olympian in Brett Livermore, as you mentioned before, part of the side and the development of those juniors that you spoke about.
Yes, there's no way we would be in the same position we're in now if we hadn't have had Brent involved in our club since 2009. Since he's retired from Australia, then he's been heavily involved in our club, and now he's the regional development officer. So lots of boys and girls are benefiting from his tutelage. There's no way we would have achieved what we had if we hadn't had Brett, and we hope he continues with us for a long time to come.
And the current makeup of the senior squad, as you say, includes a lot of those junior players, and it's continuing to be a big part of the Labrador club.
Yes, this year's probably going to be the youngest teams we've ever put out, and especially in our Division 2 team. We're stronger in our Division 2 team this year, and that's made up of a lot of our juniors. In the Division 1 team, we've got 4 guys who are in the state under-18s, and we also have attracted a quality player from Maryborough who's friends with those and was in the state under-18s. So all of those guys will hopefully play for us for quite a few years and develop into senior players of ultimate quality.
And the decision to come into Brisbane Hockey is still endorsed. Issues that have come up in the last couple of years that you guys have got to deal with by being part of the Gold Coast Association as well as Brisbane?
Well, the Gold Coast Hockey Association is a lot more flexible now. We actually have members of our own club who are on there. You have people like Susan Dalton, who's really good, and the current president, Johnny. He's supportive of what we're doing. You can see that it's actually growing the game here. It's keeping players here rather than disappearing. And then over time the representative teams get stronger and the club competition gets stronger here, because several of the players play BHL and make themselves available to play here. So it's benefit to Gold Coast all round. And
fairly exciting times coming up for this particular park in 2018 with the announcement of the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast. Can you tell us a little bit about the future of what will happen for Labrador Hockey Club as part of that?
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword there, we think, Tommy. The plan is to have 3 synthetic fields here. The existing Gold Coast one stays, and then our facility here gets bulldozed and 2 fields get run the other way. So we just have to make sure that what the parents have developed over a long time is maintained here when that facility is finished. But if it does go to how the plans are on the drawing board, it should be a wonderful facility for hockey for the Gold Coast and for tournaments from 2017 hopefully onwards.
So it'll be developed for the 2017 season for Gold Coast Hockey?
Well, my understanding is that the field has to be down for 12 months before you can play these world-class tournaments on it, so we'd be hopeful that it would be finished by 2017. Yeah.
And finally, Bruce, issues that the Labrador Hockey Club have got to face as part of being in something like this sport called hockey?
Oh, well, I guess mostly it's the funding side of things. The kids that make a lot of teams, their parents are always dipping into their pocket for money, and just maintaining and running a facility like this, you have to be pretty frugal with your finances and make sure that you're putting away sinking funds to cover the field. So most of the issues are finance, and then after that it's attracting high quality coaching for all your players, other things that we're continually working on.
Bruce Curtis, thanks very much for spending time on the Hockey Zone.
Pleasure, Tommy. Pleasure having you down here, and thanks for the opportunity to showcase our club.
Excellent.
Doing a great job.